Hey everybody, you made it through your first week. I hope you had a great weekend, and we'll start the week out with a couple of Zoom tips. I was going to call them Friday Zoom tips, but it took me so long to record this video. We'll call them Monday tips. So Monday tech tips. Today they're going to be on Zoom. Like I said, the very first thing I want you to know is that you need to set up right here a security setting. So once you are in a Zoom, this is how you can do it. There are other ways to do it before you schedule the Zoom, but I'm going to show you within the Zoom. So if you click right here on security, the biggest thing you want to do is enable waiting room. This allows you to control who comes into your Zoom and who doesn't, or who you're not going to let in. So I'm going to disable this for now, and I'm going to show you what happens if you don't have that on. So I have a student over here that is logging in. Now if your student is using a Chromebook and they click join for the very first time that they've logged into their device that day, the very first Zoom meeting, it will ask them for their screen name. I highly recommend that you get them in the habit of using their real name, their first name and their last name. Then you know who they are, and you can also use the tools within Zoom to keep attendance. So I would highly recommend that. So here's that student coming in. I named her Sally Smith. I turned off that waiting room. She's joining without video, and here she comes. Oh, there's Sally. If I turn on her video, let's see, where is that? Then you can see me over here. I'm Sally, okay? Now, that could happen. Anybody could come in. Someone could say, you know, join that Zoom because they somehow got the link, they somehow got the number. I know last year we had some incidences of this happening. So what you're going to want to do is go down to security and make sure that you click enable waiting room. And this is what will happen if you have your waiting room enabled. I'm going to log in as my phone, join with video. Look at that. Right here it's saying, oh, Heather's phone entered the waiting room. Admit. There I am, right there. See me? Hi. I am going to turn off my video. Oops, maybe. There we go. So that's the difference. I'm going to mute my phone over here. So I'll just say this, that I knew that in the spring we had a super steep learning curve, and I thought, oh, it's going to be a little flatten the curve here in the fall in terms of our learning, and I'm finding it's just as steep. So if you're feeling that way too, don't feel like you're alone. Okay, let me move on. Security features. So now you know how to enable the waiting room. If you want other people to be able to share their screen, you need to put a check mark here. For example, if you want them to be able to share their work, you need to click that. You also need to, over here in share screen, go to the advanced sharing options, and you need to make sure that all participants are checked. Otherwise, even though you have it set up as a security feature, it won't work. Okay, next security feature is chat. So you may be familiar with chat. You can either turn it on or turn it off by doing that little check mark. But if you have it on, there are some settings that you can set. So let me show you this. You click the chat and it opens up this chat window. Down here in the bottom corner there are 3 dots, and you can customize your chat. So if you want everyone to be filling up that chat with all kinds of chatter, just leave it right here on everyone publicly. Everyone will be able to see what's being posted, and it will be mayhem, trust me. If you want participants to only be able to contact you, then you want it to be here on host only, and that will be a two-way communication. You can send private messages back and forth. If you don't want the participant to be able to chat with anyone, then you'll click right here on no one. So I'm going to say host only, and I'm going to go over to the student over here, and I'm going to have that student send me a message. Okay, and then that student sent that message. Oh, look, Sally Smith sent me a message. I need help. Down here, I can write a message to Sally. and then only she can see that. Okay, it will go back and forth. So those are your different options in chat. My choice would be host only. I'm not sure what no one does. Let's see if I can figure that out. Oh, if it's on no one, then that student or person logged in can't chat with anybody. So I would default to host only. All right, so now we see the chat window. For any other student, it's going to be blank. Now, another thing is participants. You can see right here I have 3 participants in my room, and if I click on that, it will pop up here. The student will have to enable that. Each person in the room has to enable that on their own device. So for me, as the teacher, what I've done is I've enabled to see who's in my room, and I've enabled the chat so I can see both things going on at the same time. I also have my view set to speaker view. So what that means for me is that I see the tiny little boxes up at the top, and then whoever's talking is huge down here at the bottom. If you want to see everyone, then you go like that and click on gallery view. And that's helpful for if your student has a question. So your student can raise their hand, and the little hand will show up right here in the corner. So you maybe have been in some Zoom lessons and someone will say raise your hand, and they don't actually mean physically raise your hand. What they do mean is for Sally to raise her hand. Now I can see up here, if I go down a little bit, oops, Sally has her hand up. If I, as the host, go up here, I can lower Sally's hand. Okay? It also shows over here in the participants, I can see that Sally has her hand up. So that's why I think it's important to have the participants window open. That's personal preference, but I personally think that's important. There's something new that popped up, I think it was even just today, Friday, September 11th, and that's what we see right down here. There are some buttons that you can have the students use to give you some answers. So if you want to ask them some yes and no questions, you can have them click on that little box. So I'm going to go over here, did you have a good day today? Sally's going to say yes. Now I can see Sally's check mark here. I don't know if I can do that on the phone version. Let's see if I can. No, I can't on the phone. I can't use any of those. So if you have a student logged on a phone, unfortunately they can't use those features. But you can also use them. I'm going to say no, I didn't have a good day today. You can see right here that it tallies up. So if you have a lot of students in your classroom, you can see quickly how many of them answered no, how many of them answered yes. And right here is where you can clear all. If you click more, there are a couple of more things that your students can use. Actually, they can use go slower. Miss Wilson, slow down a little bit. You're going too fast. Go faster. Come on, I got this. Move up a little bit. Speed it. They can do thumbs up, thumbs down, clap. Like, yay, I love that. This one, need a break, or I went on a break, either one. And this one apparently means I'm away. So you can see, oh, there's one person that's away. That person happens to be me. And then again, if you want to clear it all, right there. All right, you'll see right here, if I have a bunch of chatter going on, I don't want to go through and individually mute everyone, I can click right here and it automatically mutes all the participants. Okay, I think there's also a feature, I don't know if it's in security, oh, right here, that if you have this checked, then they can unmute themselves. But let's say you mute them all and you're like, please stop, I'm trying to give you this. Then you can turn that off, and then they won't be able to unmute themselves. You'll have to go up here to unmute them. Okay, like I said when I was logging in, if your student logs into Zoom on their Chromebook, the very first time they log in, it will prompt them to put in a screen name. Again, please encourage them to use their first name and their last name. Once they are in that meeting, I don't think they can rename themselves. They can't, at least from what I can tell. You can rename them by going right here and then clicking rename. You can also boot them out to the waiting room. You can make them the host. You can make them a co-host. You can ask them to start their video, and then on their screen it will pop up, the host has asked you to start your video. Same thing here. If you click ask to unmute, then it will put a message on their screen that asks them to unmute. Or right here, if you click, well, If you click more, you can go right here and you can rename them. They've named themselves something kooky, and you can go in here and rename them. Now, know that I believe, and I'm not positive on this, that the next time your student logs in to a Zoom meeting, if they have not logged out of their Chromebook, then it is going to default to the name that they typed in for the first meeting. So if they've typed in something goofy, then they need to log all the way out of their Chromebook and then log back in, and this time give it the proper name. I think that's a lot of tips for now. That's 10 minutes worth of tips. There's more things in here. There's a lot of other things. But I'm going to stop right there. I hope you have a good week. If you have any questions, please ask. Some of these things I'm learning as we go, just as you are. I'm going to film another video and post it separately about student accessing and some of the features that students have in Zoom, but I didn't want this to go too long. Except I have one more thing. There are several ways for you to log into Zoom, and I know that some of us are using various methods. So I'm going to show you 3. One of them is you can come right here to the Hello ID page, click on Zoom. It will take you to the Zoom US page. Make sure that you're logged in, and you'll know you're logged in. If you see yourself, if you're not logged in, it will say sign in right in here. And if you want to start a meeting, you just click right here. That will start a meeting. So that's one way, going through Hello ID. Another way that you can start a Zoom meeting is downloading the application onto your computer. I don't know if you can see this over here, but I have the application on my computer. So if I click that, it opens, actually it's just going to open into the screen that I'm already in, but typically it will open a little white box and it will say start meeting. There's 4 little things. You can schedule a meeting, you can start a meeting, you can join a meeting. So you're just going to want to click on the little orange box that says start meeting. So that's the second way you can do it. Another way you can do it is just well, you can go directly to zoom.us if you'd like, or you can go into wherever you've posted your link, whether it's in Google Classroom or whether it's on your web page, the web page you've created, your Google Sites, and you can click on that link and it will launch it for you as well. I think that's it. I don't know where I went, otherwise I'd wave goodbye, so I'm going to wave, and I'll see you guys later.